Good evening to you all, landlubbers, ocean dwellers, and subterraneans, and welcome to 15 Minutes with Sebastian. Over the years, I've endured a great deal of ridicule for my theory of underground civilizations and the likelihood that they are still there today, below our very feet. But the truth is, these legends of our ancestors emerging from the underworld are more prevalent than you might think. Take the Hopi tribe in North Arizona and the area known as Four Corners, where the emergence story is beginning to gain far more credibility in the scientific community. As you probably know, the Hopi people are descended from the Anasazi, whose footprint on the land can be dated back to at least 1500 BC. Indeed, the Anasazi have many stories which state that our present time is in fact the fourth age of man, and that it began when their ancestors were led back to reclaim the surface of our world once more. With a little investigation, one discovers that the Four Corners lies at the very heart of an intricate series of natural caves and tunnels that were adapted and reshaped by man eons ago. Stretching for hundreds of miles throughout this vast desert region and covering 4 states, this is one of the largest of its kind in the Americas. This alone would deserve further investigation. However, evidence also shows that these underground areas were indeed home to a significantly large population who must have lived for generations in this vast underground labyrinth. The Hopi legends also speak of how their ancestors and other tribes would take refuge in these safe places during natural cataclysms in their previous ages. But perhaps more strangely, they go into great detail about the existence of 2 other underground civilizations, a race of lizard people and another known as the ant people. And these tribes protected and guided the Anasazi in their long isolation from whatever calamity was occurring on the world above. And even if one dismisses the legends of sky people, giant skeletons, and spaceships buried in the ground, there is so much evidential proof still waiting to be discovered. That's why myself and Professor George Harrison from Hodge University will be embarking on a research expedition later this year. And we'll be accompanied by the North Compass Cave Crawlers Association as we attempt to go further and deeper than anyone before. Obviously, the precise location must, I'm afraid, remain a secret due to the fact that the American government have restricted any and all exploration of the area. Why would they do that? Well, let's not forget, the American government are well aware of these stories and already have evidence. For example, between 1872 and 1896, John Wesley Powell wrote some interesting and intriguing descriptions when he became the first person to travel the entire Colorado River. And in his book, Explorations of the Colorado River and its Canyons, he writes, "I walked down the gorge to the left at the foot of the cliff, climbed to a bench and discovered a trail deeply worn into the rock. Where it crosses the side gulches in some places, steps have been cut. I can see no evidence of its having been travelled for a long time. It was doubtless a path used by people who inhabited this country's anterior to the present Indian races, the people who built the communal houses of which mention has been made. I returned to camp about 3 o'clock and find that some of the men had discovered ruins and fragments of pottery, also etchings and hieroglyphics on the rocks. In more recent times, researchers in the 1980s from the Smithsonian claimed to have found a vast network of chambers carved into the stone. In fact, they described what they discovered in great detail. A vast, labyrinthine construction that seemed capable of housing thousands of people. Oh, reading their account, the most surprising part was that it appeared almost Egyptian in its style. As I say, the government have thrown a secretive blanket over the whole thing, and officially no one is allowed access. Anyhow, I shall of course have my trusty video camera on hand to document the entire expedition, as Professor George Harrison, the North Compass Cave Crawlers Association, and myself try to finally lift the lid on this mystery once and for all. Anyhow, here's some music.
I wanna laugh at you when you boo-hoo-hoo, 'cause I love you. I can't turn my back on the things you like, 'cause I love you. I just like the things you do. Don't you change the things you do. You get me in the spot to smile the smile you got when I love you. You make me out a clown and you put me down. I still love you. I just like the things you do. Don't you change the things you do. When you bite your lip, you're gonna flip your flip, but I love you. We're miles apart, you still reach my heart. How I love you. I just like the things you do. Don't you change the things you do. Only time can tell if we get on well, 'cause I love you. All that's passed us by, we only sigh, 'cause I love you. I just like the things you do. Don't you change the things you do.
not even a pandemic will stop the annual Kabustanian Sporting Gala. In an announcement last night, the Kabustan Minister for Sport and Well-being said that the country will be reopening its borders to allow visitors into the country for this spectacular annual event. However, he insisted there would be strict guidelines to follow, and all visitors, including athletes, will be required to undertake rigorous COVID checks before being released from the secure facility just outside the Golden City itself. I can't help but wonder if North Compass will be representing again this year. You may remember, North Compass has many ties with Kabustan and have taken part in this prestigious sporting gala for as long as I can recall. Also, 5 years ago, North Compass made it to the semi-finals of the bicycle football event, eventually losing to the Chimchama District boys, who went on to take the trophy. And there's Alexander Morris from Badgerton, who last year came second to Yuri Keshenko in the 100 meters backflip race. And will Papi Dali win this year's Knuckle Hop Endurance Marathon for the 4th time? You can see the whole thing live with North Compass Television on Demand, where they'll be streaming live from the Kabustanian Central Sport Arena. So listeners, with all the plans to be made for my forthcoming expedition to North Arizona, I'm afraid this series of 15 minutes with Sebastian will have to be a little shorter than originally planned. Though, when I broke the news to the old man from the sofa sessions, he said not to worry, as nobody was watching anyway. Hilarious, as always. Sadly, I have no idea when I will return to YouTube, or if a 3rd series will even be commissioned. But rest assured, my lovelies, I shall be out there somewhere, lurking in the shadows, and seeking the truth, as always. Now, let's end the show with another song, and who cares if we run past the 15-minute mark? Rules are made to be broken, as they say.